Let's introduce Suzie.
Yeah. So, Suzie Daggett is a leader in this community for spiritual insight and the everyday soul, for finding ways that you can connect your personal belief and that intuition that takes you in the right direction with what you want to do with your life, particularly if it relates to business. She is the author of Pearl's 52 Contemplative Insights, and today she's going to be talking about how you publish an ebook, somewhat how you market that ebook, and that's something that's within our grasp. So Suzie has been an inspiration to me, seeing the way she's brought this community together, and as a facilitator, as a co of Nevada County Online, she's part of the glue that keeps this group together. So I'd like to introduce Suzie Daggett.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. So that was a beautiful introduction. I'm glad we have it on tape. I might use it. Thank you again. Now, I started this desire to create an ebook guided by 3 principles. The first one is loving persistence. And what that means is I jump into a project and I recognize where it might go and I stick with it. But I do it with kindness to self. The second one is I follow my heart, my gut, my intuition. I follow those leads that might look goofy to some people, but as Evelyn knows, they lead exactly where you need them to be. That's what your soul does for you. And the third is, I know when to ask for help. And that would be maybe one of the most important things, because I don't let my ego stand in the way and say, I can figure it out. Because believe me, I can't. So I decided I was going to do an ebook, but I started writing it 19 years ago. And guess what? By the time I wanted to start doing it last year, it was not on my computer, which had been replaced many times in 19 years. But luckily, it was in paper form, and I could take it and get an editable document. And so I did that, and I spent lots of time making it how I wanted it to make it. And then I decided, well, I'd do an ebook. Even though I had tried to publish this particular material in many different ways, as cards, very juvenile attempts. Just, I did not know what I was doing, and I did not know how to ask for help at that time. I have grown since then. So I ended up with an ebook. Now, the first thing I knew about ebooks is nobody knows how to spell it. You know, I looked at every typical way, and it's all these. So whatever way you want to spell it, that's the way it is. Nobody knows how many ebooks there currently are, but there's at least 2.7 million. And they can be read, as you can see. Let's see if I can get this pointer to work. They can be, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing here. They can be used on a phone, which many people who read stuff on their phone. Yep. iPads. Yep. Your computer. They can be read as a Kindle app mostly. You don't have to buy a Kindle, you can just get an app. It's amazing. They have made it so simple to get your information. So as a self-publisher, oh God, you say I can be my own publisher. You get to decide what you're going to publish, when, where, and how. Very exciting. And guess what? You make more money per book than your friend who went to a publisher. Here's a very experienced publisher right here in the front seat who has, how many books do you have, Mary?
10 or 11.
10 or 11. And the amount of money you make per book is probably under $1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, under $1, and she makes beautiful books, and she's been in the industry for years. If she does an ebook or a print on demand, more of that money will be hers.
So how much more?
Well, you can't quite do that. Yeah. You get the satisfaction of being a published author. It feels really, really, really good. But, and here's why the baby's crying. You have a limited market. 2.7 million books. And yours is 2.7.000 It's a limited market. How are they going to find you? You will need to become a marketing expert. Even if you publish, as Mary knows, through a publisher, you still need to become a marketing expert. So why do you create an ebook? You want to be famous, right? You want everybody to know what you have to say. You feel the need to be published. Okay, then you have the BOR. The BOR product, back of room. If you look back there by Laura, hold up my little sign. I have my little sign that says you can buy these right here. So you give a talk and then you have the back of the room thing, and somebody's going to buy your book. Maybe 2 people, maybe 10 people, maybe no people, but you have a product. Your family and friends want to see you in print. They'd be so proud of you. You heard it was a good idea. Everybody's doing it, and you know you will make money. Anybody else have a self-published book here? No, not working. Published. 1, 2, no. We're all published. 3?
No, I haven't published it.
You have published it. Okay. All right. So 4 or 5 of us. So are you making any money? A little bit here and there. Doug?
Yeah, it's the stuff that's coming off of it, like speaking engagements.
Yeah. It's not necessarily the book itself. Listen, it's what comes around it. Okay, so first your idea. Oh, wow, you're so smart. What do you want to produce? You have to, as Brian said, you have to know your audience. If you don't know your audience, you're going to be talking to the trees. And I spent many years trying to know my audience. I still don't know if I do. You have to know your genre. What genre are you? What is your subject? And then why, when you're in the writing part, you have to say, why write? You have to set your intention. What is your intention? My intention was to get my information out there. It's switched a little bit since then, but that was my intention. And then how do you do it? Whoops, oh God, sorry. You write, you write, you write, you write. And then you edit, you edit, you edit. Now this is just the first blush. This is you. This is not anybody else. This is just you sitting down at your computer or on paper, however you do it, and doing it. And then when? Do you have an end date? Could it be in 2018? Is it going to be this year? Is it going to be next month? You have to, if you're a writer, and those of you who are writers know that you could sit down to write and you go, you know, I think I need to go to the market. Or the laundry needs to be done. That cat needs to be fed. You will find any excuse not to write. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So you have to be disciplined. You have to set aside time to do it. And then where will you publish? Will it be an ebook, a print on demand, that's a POD, a PDF, or a publisher? There's so many choices. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of going through this fast, but we have limited time. And please jump in. If anybody is an expert, I want to hear your expertise, because I forgot to say, I'm not an expert at all. I'm just somebody who, with loving persistence, jumped in and did it and learned it. Okay, the difference between there I go again, an ebook from book. Ebooks flow differently. You've got to understand this is the most major thing to understand. If you don't know how to format an ebook, don't ask me. Ask a geek or Fiverr, because you cannot have any page breaks. In a Word document, they're very complicated. They have tons and tons of page breaks that you don't see when you're typing away. But if you get into the format, you go, oh my God, you know, that paragraph's there. You cannot do that on an ebook. And every single device will read differently your beautifully presented book. And then whoever the device belongs to, they'll say, well, I want 16 font. I want to change it to Arial. And all your beauty of designing the book is gone downhill. You just have to know this is a reality, because people will read it on their phone, they'll read it on their iPad or their Kindle, and they'll read it on their computer. This is an ebook only. This is not print on demand. There is no pagination. Don't be going and putting page 1, page 2, page 3. It goes back to the flow. Pagination will not and does not work. On a print-on-demand book, it does. But an ebook no pagination. You can do a table of contents, but you can't do a pagination. Do you understand all that? Does that make sense? Your images may or may not be sharp, especially in a print-on-demand book. I can guarantee they will not be sharp. And this is important for you because you're all image related. Yeah. On a ebook, because it's electronic, the images will be better. But again, think of, Mary does a lot of astrology, so she's got big, so she's got big spreads of beautiful cards. And they look beautiful in a PDF or they look beautiful on a Kindle, but when you put them on a phone, what do they look like? So you have to understand it's different for every single one. One thing you must do, if you have never looked at an ebook before, how many people have looked at an ebook? Great. Because if you had not looked at one, you have to, because you have to understand how different they are. And if you don't have a smartphone, borrow one from somebody's and download your book or whatever, or look at whatever they read on their phone. And then look at that same thing if you can in a Kindle, and then the same thing on your computer, and you'll go, oh my, that's quite different. I didn't know that. But if you're going to be an expert in your field, you need to know that. So here's my smartphone in one of my pages. And this is, I just want you to see it ends with expansion. See, I can do it right there. And of course, on a smartphone, we don't live in a major smartphone area, but if you lived in Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, all you see are people like this. Nobody has their head up anymore because they're all reading and they're walking and they fall down. But that's what they do. And they got to catch up on everything, right? So they might be reading your book on their phone. Okay, because it's convenient. And it's a very much of a younger audience that reads this stuff on their phone. Maybe not our age group, but the younger audience. So this I'm sorry did not show it so well. So this is the same page on my iPad, and here's the word expansion. Okay, before on the phone it was down here, but it gets expanded because it's a full page. Okay, so most people do read on a Kindle type of device. This is my Kindle, which is an app on, or it's actually I guess it's an app. But what you do need to know again is oh my goodness, this is why I need help. Sorry, I'll get it. You can see that I have paragraphs, and I have bolds, and I have separation. I do not have indents. I did not put those in there. And my ebook, if you were to download, you'd see there's a table of contents that is hot linked, which means it's like a link that you see when you're on the web. So if I want to say, well, I wonder what create from the heart and the rest will follow says, you just go to the front of the Kindle and you find that hot link in the table of contents, press it, and it goes right to there. That's cool. Does not happen in a print-on-demand book, but it happens in an iBook. Page breaks are important to understand how they happen, so that's when you get help. And you usually have to hire somebody about 4 to do this because they know what's going on where we don't, right? Anybody have young children that know? Huh? Grandchild.
Yeah, she's 3 and she calls me on Skype. I don't even know how she figured it out.
That's it. It's ingrained in their little bodies and brains, and we have to learn and struggle for this. So if you're not a techie, and Evelyn knows I'm not because she had to do something special to get this going. Thank you, Evelyn. Hire one. They're all over the place. How many techies do we have in this room? Look at that. Look at that. There are people. There are people you can get help from. What I did, I went the inexpensive way because I didn't know any better. I went to Fiverr.com. Now, does anybody know this website? Heard of it. Yes. Okay, so it's very cool. And it's Fiverr.com. $5. I don't know how these people do it, but for $5, They will do what you ask them to do, whether it's a logo or, in my case, this one guy, Joseph, so here's where my intuitiveness came through. I scanned through all the people that could lay out an ebook. I said, well, I think I like Joseph. In Fiverr, you do not know anything other than they live in the United States, or they live in Bombay, or they live in China, or whatever. So you choose who you want. And then you look at you type in that you want somebody who's going to format an ebook. And then the experts come out. You read their reviews, just like you were on Yelp. You read their reviews and find out who's who. Then you get to email them. Only through Fiverr. You cannot talk to them on the phone. Don't even think of it. It's not possible. This is all text through Fiverr. Yes?
What kind of formatting? You can't do page breaks. You can do bold paragraphs. So what
You
kind of
can do this stuff that I don't even know the words for. It's a oh God, it's in my notes and I can't remember what it is, but it's a special. What is it, Doug? Do you remember? Did you format your book? EPUB?
You know, Word works if you're using CreateSpace. Word will work. There's another one called EPUB.
Yeah, there's EPUB and there's Mobi. I think it was Mobi that they have to do it in. They have special programs that take out all the page breaks. And if you're a smart person and you have tons of time, you can sit there in your Word document and you go, well, oh, there's a page break. Where'd it come from? And get rid of it. I have no patience, and I'm not a techie, and I did not want to spend my time when I could give Joseph $5. I ended up giving him 10. And it took maybe 3 weeks for him to understand what I wanted and for me to see what he was giving me. And it comes out as a PDF, yes.
So did you give him a Word document?
I gave him my Word document, which was just a flowing Word document, starting from page 1 with everything in it all the way to the end. And then he took that and threw it into some special sort of thing that you guys probably know. Took out all the page breaks, took out all the whatevers, and bolded where I wanted it and that sort of stuff.
And so that was formatting for
The
what kind of a device?
ebook.
For the ebook, which is, now this is, I'm a little confused about this. I have an ebook on my website, but it's a PDF.
That's a different thing.
Okay.
How many people want to download Suzanne's PDF? One person, 2 people maybe. If you download a PDF, you're taking paper to read, or you're just reading it online.
Read it online.
They read it online. Yeah, you can do it as a PDF. I did mine also as a PDF, and then I thought, well, that's too confusing. Just ebook or the print on demand. And the PDF is usually free, but you can charge for it.
It's free. It's the first chapter of a book. So it's a teaser. People come to get a flavor of the book by reading the PDF.
And then they say, I want more, what happens?
They join my mailing list for my website, and actually the rest of the book isn't written yet. So when I am,
Back to chasing that cat. You've got to stay in your chair and finish the book.
I'm an entrepreneur. I have 3,000 things to do every day. So the book is kind of floating out there, and basically it gets people to my website to buy products that I offer today.
And they don't ask for more?
Whenever that first chapter is really comprehensive, and it's also very self-sufficient.
Oh, well then maybe that's your
You get
book.
a whole lot.
Maybe that's
out of
it.
that.
You don't have to have a 500-page book. Mine is very small.
Yeah.
Mine is very small.
But so back to this Fiverr dude, which sounds amazing. So for $5, you give him a Word document, and
Or a PDF. I think it has to be a Word.
he formats it for something that's visible on an iPad.
He formats it for you to put into whatever user you end up being, and we're almost there of who it would be. Okay? All right. So if you don't know what you're doing, talk to somebody, read the fine print, review articles. There's so many articles on the web, I cannot tell you. You could just lay there on your couch all day long and read these articles, because there are tons of articles how to write an ebook, why to write an ebook, who reads an ebook, why ebooks are important, blah, blah. So there's tons of them. And talk to friends who have published. That's really important. So then, are you really ready? Are you really, really ready? Have you written all the front matter? Now the front matter is the title page, the preface, the copyright, the dedication, the about, the acknowledgments, the foreword, the index, etc. Table of contents. That stuff's really important because this is what somebody's going to see when they first pick up your book. And if it's like not written well or sloppy, they're going to say, well, forget it, you know. Now these two are extremely important. A copy editor and a content editor. Does anyone know the difference between those two? Jan does, because why?
Because I hire a copy editor all the time, and I'm more of a content editor myself. So I think it's important to know the difference. The copy editor dots your I's, crosses your T's, sees all the little things that you don't want to see, because you're not looking for that kind of thing. And then the content editor, a lot of times you have everything there, but it doesn't flow. It's not in a logical sequential order, or certain material is duplicated. So it's really good to have somebody with a big picture kind of vision to be able to read through it.
Exactly. And I have...
There are people who have both, who do both as well.
Yeah. I hired two different people. And I did it copy first. And I did it very nicely because my daughter-in-law is a copy editor. So I said, Kim, honey, do you have time for my job? And she did, luckily. And I'm kind of a comma queen. And so all of a sudden I realized, oh, all those commas are gone. You know, and that's what happens when you write. You get very enthusiastic and you start putting stuff in. Yes?
One question about your index. Canon, because I have a glossary in the back of mine. What's the difference between a glossary and an index?
Well, they might be the same. I don't know. I'd have to look. What is, Mary, you answer it.
Yeah, definitions.
Definitions.
Also definitions, the index tells you where to go to find the material in the text.
Because I have so many names and terminologies, I just put a glossary as to what this person is, what the science thing is. And I have a glossary.
Yes.
Is that proper? Or?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be index?
Well,
Fiction doesn't have an index.
yeah,
So,
no, fiction
yeah.
just has chapters.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So glossary's fine.
Yeah. Talk to the experts. Don't ask me. I don't have that. A content editor.
Who go through your book and find the keywords and to put in your index so that it goes to the right page.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's more of a defining it. Someone reads it and they say, well, what does that mean? They go back to the glossary. Oh,
That's the glossary.
Yeah.
Different.
But you know what's cool about a ebook? People can highlight the word and it will go to a dictionary to tell them what it means. It's very cool. You know, and you can underline and yellow mark all over the place in an ebook. You can do that in a print book as well, but you can't look up a word in a print book as you can in an ebook. So as Jan said, a content editor is very good. So after my daughter-in-law did the copy editing, then I sent it to someone who knew what content editing is. Now, if you have friends who say, oh, I'll edit for you, I love doing that. Do this. Say thank you and walk away. Because if you've ever seen somebody's book that has been done by their neighbor and didn't want to offend them, it is not a good book. I've looked at many different ebooks that people, or print-on-demand books that people have done. I went, oh my, it's too bad. They spent all that time and energy because they didn't have a content editor, so stuff was duplicated all the way around. It ended up being a thick book like this, and it didn't need to be. So be careful who you hire, who you ask for help. And make sure you have a professional a photograph, okay? And there's tons of people in this community that can do that for you. The cover, oh my gosh, the cover is so important. I went through 6 iterations, hiring the wrong person for the moment who I thought was the right one, and then stepped aside and went, this is not me. The gal who did this does stuff, she does juvenile stuff. And I thought, this is not me. So then I found the right image, which is my husband's, this is kind of a family thing, you know, my husband's photography. And I went to my graphic designer I've used for years, who knows my myself, who knows me, who knows how to follow what I want. And she was able to put the design around it. And so it came out to be what I wanted, which was appealing, soft, inviting. It tells a story, it pulls you in, it feels right. Your cover is so important. Doug?
I tip on ebook covers. Remember that those are often put down to like a thumbnail size.
Yeah, they're tiny.
So you really want contrast, big print, something that stands out. Otherwise,
Yeah. And a good graphic artist will know that. If you're trying to do this yourself and you say, well, I like Arial, I'll just use that, and you throw it in there, you may not know this. So just be careful. Who are you going to use? You're the publisher, but who are you going to use to get it out there? So there's so many choices. There are so many choices. I spent a lot of time with Smashwords because I liked all their information. I learned a lot. I'd lay down on the couch when I got overwhelmed because I can't get into some of this stuff, so I just lay there and read. That was my go-to spot, popcorn, read, and I learned a lot. But Smashwords does not have a contract with Amazon. Okay. Blurb. Blurb is great if you're going to do a photo book. Otherwise, I would stay away from Blurb, and it's expensive. Lulu, when I was looking, was more expensive. They've changed their ways now, and this is a very fluid industry. What you read today in 2 months is going to be completely different. And I'm telling you, completely different, because it is just too big a container and too fluid. So just keep aware of it. Book Baby, I didn't spend much time with. It was a little too much money to get in there. And then many self-publishing companies. If you go on there and just type in self-publish, you'll get a ton of different ideas. Most of them want one thing, and that would be your money. And they are going to promise another thing, marketing. And guess what doesn't happen? They take your money, they forget. They don't want to help you market. That's just the reality. Publishers, if you have the time, 2 or 3 years to get a publisher, that's one idea. If you're like Mary and you've been published before, they will come back to her because she's an expert in her field. But there aren't many people like that. You're an unusual person. The Big Daddy, I went with Amazon because everything I read led me back to Amazon, and they're the biggest container. And you can get the Kindle Direct or KDP. That's the email format. There's no fees to do anything with Kindle. Nothing. You can have fees on your end, maybe of a content editor, a copy editor, a cover, and that sort of thing. But there's no fees to upload your information. And the same with CreateSpace, which is their print-on-demand side. It's the same thing. But the things you need to know, you own and control all your own rights. All of them. Now, do you own your rights on your published books?
They're delegated to the publisher.
Yeah.
I own them, but they're delegated to them, period.
Yeah. So it's a different thing between those two. You create your own publisher name. Hey, have fun with it. Make up any name you want because it's your name. You are the publisher, nobody else, just you. Get familiar with your oh darn it, sorry. Get familiar with your dashboard, and when you go on there and you say, okay, I'm ready. I've done all my homework. I'm ready to publish. You spend time laying on the couch with your popcorn and go through your dashboard. Get to know everything they ask. They're going to ask you, do you have your own ISBN number? Every book published has to have an ISBN. If it's a hardback or a paperback, that's 2 separate ISBNs. If it's a Kindle, it's an ebook, and a paperback, that's 2 separate ISBNs. Now, with Amazon, they will give them to you for free. You can buy them. You can buy you can buy one of them for $125 or a package of 10 for something. I just went with Amazon. Your subject code, this is so important. This BISG, this is a book industry study group, and everybody has to pay attention to it. It's a long list of specific genres and categories, and you have to decide where your book lands. My book is an odd one because it's kind of inspirational, meditative. I don't like self-help, and I don't like lots of the categories they force me to be in. But I had to go with self-help. And you can just Google BISG, and you can find this long list. Get familiar with it. It's very important. Okay, keywords. These are so much fun. Who loves keywords? Good, I'm going to have you do mine. I had such trouble with keywords, but I ended up with these keywords because they basically tell me what I need. They're the way people are going to find you. Okay, somebody's looking for intuition, they will find me that way. Price and royalty. You get to choose your own price, and you get to decide which royalty package you get, either 35 or 70%. And I'm not going to go into details on that. That's in your dashboard. But yes.
For a second, I want to go back to the ISBN. I did that on CreateSpace, and I found out that if I used their assigned ISBN, I couldn't sell to independent book publishers. It restricts it.
Yeah, you get another. Just buy another one.
So I just bought my ISBN, and it allowed me to keep it on Amazon and to sell it.
Great. Yeah, you can do it that way. I just didn't go. I didn't go to that point yet.
On the Amazon, if you buy it from Amazon, you can only use it.
You don't buy it from Amazon. Amazon assigns it.
And you can only use it on Amazon?
Right. Right. Because that's their channel.
That number, but not your book.
Yeah, your book you can sell, and I can bring it to the library and sell it. Even with my Amazon ISBN, they may or may not care. If I give them the books, they're not going to order from Amazon. They would just get them from me. There's a difference there. More to know, the category. Okay, so categories, there's 48 major categories in the BIS, whatever it is. You have to know what category you belong in, and you have to think like you're somebody walking into a bookstore and you're looking for your book. Where would you find it? You know? So if you're unsure, go to a bookstore. Look and see how they have it organized. Look at the BISG, and there you go. Now on mine, because I'm in this spot that they forced me to be in, I'm under inspiration and personal growth. So that is underneath another category. And so there's 48 majors, and then there's tons of sub-majors. Tons and tons, yes.
Now, category differs from the BISG.
No, the category is the BISG.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, so there's 48 majors, but then you click on one that might be adult literature, and it goes out here. It keeps going because there's so many different things. So you have to spend time. It doesn't take a lot of time, but you have to know that that's what you want to do. Because how will the readers find you? This is what you're concerned with. How will somebody who does not know you and is not your mother and loves you, how will they find your book? You have to make it easy for them. Publish! You're on top of the world. You get to push the button. You upload your work. Now this is after you've gone to Fiverr or after you've formatted yourself exactly the way they want it. Okay? You just take your time and do it the way they want it. You upload your cover that you just finally are in love with. You push the button. Oh no, don't do that. You push the button. Now, this is the exciting moment because you go, man, I have arrived. This is it. Everybody's going to know my book, right? And this is the fun part about Amazon. If you goof, you can just unpublish, fix all your goofs, and they will run a quick spell check for you. But if you don't do that beforehand, you're already off guard because nobody's going to read a book that in the first 5 pages they run into many different misspellings or bad language, or not bad language, bad grammar. They just won't. They'll put it down. So if you goof, you easily republish, and then you consider writing a print on demand as well. in my particular case, people said, but I don't want it on Kindle. I want to hold it in my hands. And I went, okay, then it's a whole different thing. Because in a print-on-demand book, you have pagination. You have layout. You have prettiness. You have things at the top and at the bottom. You know, and you have somebody who knows how to do this. Again, thank you, my daughter-in-law, Kim. She knew how to do that because she does it as a job for CreateSpace. So hey, who better to use than somebody who knows how to do it? If you don't know how to format something, you've got to find the right person to do it. Otherwise, your book will not be appealing, and that's what you're after. Okay, so once you're published, woo, what do? Do you sit back and say, well, I did all the hard work. It's all over with now. I'm fine. No. What you do is you get reviews. You get reviews. And you ask everybody, your friends, your family, your dog. But they have to be an Amazon customer to get a review. Okay? So I had a gal who wanted to give a review, but she was not an Amazon customer. Her husband was. So she used his account, and she was able to write her review. So these are things you need to know. They do not need to purchase it from Amazon. So this gal over here, she found this in a quaint little bookstore in Nevada City. Well, that'd be Harmony Books. And she purchased it from Harmony. I don't know who she is, and she still wrote a review. So you don't need to get it from, you don't need to purchase from Amazon. And this is kind of the harder part, is if you can keep track of who purchased your book, and then send them a follow-up email and say, would you please review for me? Because many times people will not review unless they're asked. And you want reviews. The more reviews you have, the better Amazon likes you.
The more good reviews.
Yeah, the more good. I only have 5 stars, so that's good. That's good. I'm appreciative of that. Now, what comes next after you ask for reviews is you get to market. Who loves to market their own work? Ooh, we have a few people. That's fabulous. How do you do it?
Well, my husband was a professional marketer, so I used to go to, on the day of the overhead, I would be his AV person, and I would listen to all his stuff. He passed away, and I still use it. But, you know, it's hard to figure it out. I think you really need to go for what's the benefit. What will you get out of this?
What will your reader get out of it? What's in it for me?
What's in it for you?
Mm-hmm.
It's a secret.
Yes, it is. And many people, especially if they're over here in the right brain category, they're more creative, they don't like to do this left brain stuff, which is the marketing, and which is doing all the social media and all that stuff. Do you like to do that, Mary? Some. Yeah. Because you're semi-active on social media. Semi. Who's active on social media? Who's active on social media tooting their own horn? 1, 2, 3. Good. Oh, and me too. So you have to sing your sorry. Oh, God. You have to sing your praises to the heavens. You have to be able to do that. If you're unable to do that, if you're unable to step into your own power and feel good about what you've done, you can't share it with anybody. Yes?
The most successful situations I've seen is when you find a community online that love the same things you do. You become very active with them for a period of time, several months maybe, and then start talk about your process, writing the book, what you're into, what do people think about it, could they critique this little piece for you. And by the time your book comes out, you've got a huge group of people who, by word of mouth and their own interest, are going to buy it and recommend it to others.
And that's a technique that people in the pyramid of success. So there's people at the top that are extremely successful, and then there's a lot of us down here in the bottom. So the people at the top, they do this. They start out 6 months beforehand with their press releases and with their agents doing most of the work. This is people who are going to sell a gazillion amount of money. This is not us who don't have any money to spend to do that kind of marketing. Because that kind of marketing, to get it in press, in print, online, takes a lot of time and effort. And you've got to love it, and you've got to keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. And if you can't do that, this is what you do next. You hire a professional. You find somebody in your genre who knows and loves what you do. If you write murder mysteries and you find somebody who only likes intuition books, not a good match. You find a murder mystery person who's going to take your book to the next level. You've got to be able to do that. And there are people out there. You just Google them and you find them. You go on to Nevada County Peeps and you say, I need blah, blah, and you go, oh my God, look at all these people out here I never knew existed. Or you can go to Sierra Writers, where Jan is a member, and you can read through all their bios and see who does what kind of editing. And that's how you find professionals. Finding a good marketing professional, how easy is that? Anybody had success? Not easy at all. Raleigh.
Oh, yeah, back a couple points. You were talking about reviews on Amazon. A great piece of software if you're marketing with your ebooks or whatever product, physical product you're selling on Amazon, is a site called Feedback Genius.
Feedback Genius, okay? And I don't know this one. Feedback Genius.
It's about $30 a month. Is it $20 a month? And what it does is you plug in your Amazon seller account to this site, and what it does is every sale it'll generate an email to send out to the customer, thanking them for their purchase or whatever.
Creates like an autoresponder series for
Right.
every person that buys your product on Amazon.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So
and
you
it'll-
don't have to do it.
Yeah,
It just,
you can
you
send out-
create the letter and then it automatically.
Right, send out whatever series of emails, asking for a review, an honest review, and so you don't even have to think about it. It just does it automatically.
You can also go to Fiverr.com and you can say, write me a review. Now, I don't believe that's really very honest, but that service is out there. I'm just telling you. Yeah, but that's a good one. Say the name again.
Feedbackgenius.com.
Feedbackgenius.com. Okay, so let's talk about marketing. Yes.
When you mentioned one other person for hiring a pro who's quite good, there's a woman out of Sacramento named Stephanie Chandler. She is the founder
She's been
of
here
a group called
before.
the Sacramento Speakers Network, and she is quite good. I agree with you that you want to be in that genre, but she's somebody I recommend. Her name is Stephanie Chandler.
Actually,
She's a marketing guru?
Huh?
Marketing guru?
She is a specialist at both self-published books and ebook marketing. And Doug,
Yeah, to add to that, she's actually going to she's restarting a group she started called the Non-Fiction Authors Association or something, and they're going to be meeting in March in Sacramento. I'll put the link on the Nevada County Online site.
And put it on our Facebook site too, for those of you who don't know. We have a Facebook site.
page.
Yeah. Yes.
She's awesome. She's really awesome.
Okay, I might be going back a little bit, but when you send your document to Fiverr, is that in the 8.5 by 11 format? Like,
I don't think they care what format it is. It's just you send them in a Word doc.
yeah, I mean, because I have.
Don't format it.
No, I have mine in the regular format, then I have it in 6 by 9.
No, they don't want that because they're not concerned. The 6x9 is not for ebook. That's for print on demand. And it depends on what you're doing. If you're doing an ebook, you just send them your base manuscript. If you're doing a print on demand, I actually tried to do Fiverr for my print on demand, and I could not get him to understand my needs because he wasn't professional enough. And then my daughter-in-law luckily had time, and she knew exactly what to do. And so we would sit on the phone and I'd say, no, honey, I don't like that. Oh yeah, I do like that. So that made all the difference for me. I had to have a real person. I couldn't have somebody that I didn't know and that I couldn't speak with. For the print on demand, I still am not happy with my ebook, but I really don't care about my ebook because my book is really more a print on demand book than an ebook. So it depends on what you're after and what you want, you know. Yes.
I mean, it really just goes to, you just really got to want it and be able to do whatever it takes to get what you want and really believe in yourself. Because if you believe in yourself, you're going to be able to sell that product.
Right.
Sell yourself. It always comes first within, and then it'll be vibrated out.
Right. That's the loving persistence.
Yeah.
That is one of my guiding principles, and I've gone with that for years, the loving persistence. So you have to have that feeling within you that this is of value, A, to you, and B, to others. If you don't have that, it's not going to work. Doug?
The question about the format, create space, they'll actually, you can download a template and then drop your word stuff into it, and they show you how to do it. Really good instructions there.
They do that already. I think I must have put it over.
They do, and if you like what you have, then that's fine. I just am not technical enough, and I'd rather have somebody who knows what they're doing do it for me.
Then there's a direct link from your POD that takes it straight to the Kindle. And then I did that, and I looked at the Kindle, and I'm going like, what's this mess?
Well, I've heard that from many people who create. I did it the other way. I did the ebook first, then I did the print on demand, but I did it completely different format because it was a slightly different book.
Yeah.
But I've heard that from those who have created the Create Space print on demand first, and then they went to translate it into a Kindle, and they could not get anything from Amazon that would tell them how to do it right. So it was very difficult.
I didn't know about no paginations or any of that. So
You have to go on the ebook and read that. Yeah, totally different layout. They're totally different ducks. You've got a horse over here and you've got a cat over here, and they're totally different. They're not going to look the same, smell the same, or talk the same. Doug has something, and Suzanne.
Are you still have more marketing? I was going to talk about websites.
Yeah, we'll talk about marketing because that is the biggest thing, and I have still not brought myself up to speed on marketing. But what I do, and what I would suggest everybody does, is do something like always have something in your pocket, a card or a 4-up like this. So you're talking, this happened on our porch the other day. Some clients were over for my husband, and they said, "Oh, I heard you wrote a book." And I said, "And here it is. You can buy it here or you can buy it at wherever." And they go, "We'll buy it here." But you hand them something because it may go in their purse or their jacket, and it may sit there for 6 months, and then they'll pull it out and they go, "I need this." And they'll go order it. You do not, this is part of marketing. You do not know where anything is going to come from. So you have to have many ancillary things. You have to keep it up on Facebook, social media of any kind. You have to keep it up on, make sure that your LinkedIn profile is exquisite, and I don't mean at 30% or 50% or 70%. Get it up to 100%. You have to tweet once in a while if you're not a Twitter head, and I'm not. But you have to let people know. You have to write articles, blogs, you have to interact with people in your same genre. This is all part of marketing that you can do. But if you're going to hire a pro, make sure that pro knows you. So Doug, you're going to talk about the pro.
I was going to talk about websites.
Okay.
So my suggestion is that the website can be sort of your foundation, like a base camp. It's the place you can send people back to. It's where you can blog. And the best way to go for simplicity is to use WordPress. It's a really nice, you can, some of these hosting companies like A2 Hosting, they'll even, install WordPress for you. You can kind of push them on. You can buy themes that give the look and feel to your website that are made specifically for authors. And blog, and then all these other social media things you can do, you can push it out to your website. You see the blog post, you can have links to Amazon from there. You can post press releases, like you get interviewed somewhere. If you run videos on YouTube, you can run a link back to your website. You can grab it from YouTube and show it on your website. So it's really kind of like a hub.
Yeah, you have to go have it, if you either have a website or a page. I have a page in my website about my book. But what I also have, and Doug, you might have this on yours, and many of you may or may not have this, in your emails, do you have signatures? Do you have a signature with your book on it? Do you have a signature with your book and a link to that page? Go do that today. I tried it, I couldn't figure out, so I had to bring somebody in who knew how to do it. I just couldn't get my image small enough for some reason, I don't know, because I just couldn't. Corian.
I wanted to just dovetail on Doug mentioning about WordPress, that Catherine Schultz is now an instructor at Plaster School for Adults. She's teaching a 5-part WordPress class, so you can find out more at plasteronline.org. But if you want to get into WordPress in some depth and thinking about making your own site, she is a good instructor.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Her name is Catherine. And Jeannie also is a website genius.
Learn all that technical stuff and spare yourself all that time.
Call Jeannie.
Because I create
Yeah.
WordPress websites.
On WordPress, BCCLC will be doing a workshop to get you started, so that it's a 2-hour workshop in about 3 months, so that you can get your own website started with WordPress and build on it. And it's going to be a good start for a very low price.
Yeah, there's many ways to do it. You know, you just have to start investigating. It is up to you. You're the publisher, you're in control. Take time to lay on the couch or however you do it so that you can figure out what works right for you. Don't do it for the way I've done it, because I am not an expert. I'm just somebody who got in there, and I did it through my 3 principles of my loving persistence. See the rose growing out of the rock? You just have to keep at it. But you have to keep at it with your heart. If your heart's not in it, forget it. You're not going to go there. I follow my inner prompts. I really, truly do. I live my life intuitively. And when I need help, I find and accept help. So that's really important, because many people say, well, I need help, but I can do it. You're shaking your head, yes.
Oh, I'm not that. I'm totally...
Find help. Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really important to find and accept help. And there's so much help around. And it doesn't need to be over the top costly. It can be affordable if you find the right things. So I encourage all of you to go forward, create your book, be a publisher, have fun with it, and believe in yourself. Thank you.
We have everybody's business card in our little basket here.
Because when I ran into something I didn't understand, I would Google it, and then I'd scan and I'd find that one sentence that explained it to me, and then I went on. But I'm not like Matt, or I'm not like Evelyn or Raleigh, who can understand how things work. My brain doesn't work that way. It makes me tired, and I have to go take a long nap. I just can't do it.
So I understand there's 2.7 million books.
At least.
How many ebooks have sold? Numbers on that, or how many have you sold?
I haven't sold many ebooks because that's not my intention. It's the print on demand is more where I'm going, because that's more what my book is about, my information is about. And it's not, I haven't sold that many of the print on demand either, but I have sold them, and they are out there in the universe, and my intention is to get 100,000 sold. So everybody can help me buy some today. Yes.
On CreateSpace, on the POD, what you can set up, because I went through the whole process last year, is they can buy your book, and then there's a link where they can go back to the ebook. Let's say they pay $13.95 for your book. They can go back to the ebook and pick it up for $2.50.
Yes.
And there's a link back and forth. So you can make specials so that it will, so your POD will drive your reading.
And your book is the kind that people would read on an ebook. Mine is or isn't. So you have to decide that. You know, that's knowing your audience.
Is there anywhere where they track sales of ebooks?
Yeah.
Where, how do you
Somewhere. I don't know. Google it.
Create
Google it. Exactly. See, those things I'm not interested in, so I don't pay attention to them. Any other questions? Hey Doug, tell us a little bit about your book, because you got an award and I haven't got to that point of understanding how to do that. I have to sit at your feet.
Well, it was one of those online, what was her name? Christine Closer. She had a contest called the Transformational Author Writing Contest.
Oh.
And before my book was even published, I entered some chapters in it. And out of, I don't know, 1,000 entries, they won. And, and that's good, you know, if you win something like that, you can put it on your cover, you use it,
Google loves it.
all of that, so, yeah.
So you just have to keep searching out opportunities, and that takes time. Takes time.
I would say Christine Closer also has an online whole training program to get your books written, to use whether it's ebooks.
There you go. There you go. But you have to sit and read all that stuff. Yes, of course.
One of the things for a printed book that you can do to just move a ton of volume is if you're involved in any kind of association or if you're in a company somehow, you can get the company or the organization oftentimes to buy the book in bulk if you private label the cover. And so you might have a company that might buy 3,000 books from you like that to distribute to your sales stores or particular divisions. So consider that.
Yeah.
One more thing I might want to add, I also looked on, there's certain places you go on where they give you free reviews. They have these groups that review your books.
Right.
And you send them the e-copy and it takes a couple months, but they review your book and they send it back to you. So you don't have to pay for it, and if you get a great review, you just put it right up there on your website.
Yeah.
What about like copyright issues? You know, you're sending your book out.
You own it. You are the copyright. You own it. Make sure you've got your copyright.
So you have to have those down.
Yes.
Yes. You just put it. Huh? You
Or
don't.
managed.
Yeah. I did. Yeah. I just.
have certain rights if you formally copyrighted, you don't have, if you don't.
Okay. Otherwise, you just have to go like a little copyright.
Yeah, I mean, technically, your work is copyrighted, yeah. But
It's not, you don't have to copyright these posts because of the name.
not anymore, it doesn't. I know a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you know that name?
One of the things is like through Amazon, you can do it, or you might do the copyright office. Just go to copyright,
You can go to
US copyright.
LegalZoom too. LegalZoom that has a form you can do your copyright.
Zoom.
LegalZoom, that's where I did mine.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything quite that fancy. I just did the C and put a sentence in there. That's my way.
You only need to go and get registered if you think you're going to go through a lawsuit.
Yeah.
So you've got 100 years of protection just by the fact you wrote the original content. Make sure you don't violate other people's copyright. That is a messy one now. You took some material from someone else's website, or you took it from...
Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't. This is all original stuff, people. Do not borrow and steal from others.
Actually, if you do borrow somebody else's brilliance,
Well, reference it.
ask permission. 10 times out of 10, they'll give you permission, and then you've got access to their distribution list because their content's in their book. Okay?
So ask permission. Do not ever quote anybody unless, or write a big long thing unless you have permission from them. Be really careful on that. Stick with your original thoughts, not somebody else's. Okay. Anything else? Oh.
What's the offering?
Oh, the offering. What do you think?
The next time supply of books.
Because these are print on demand. If I want to order them, I just say, I want 30 cents to me, please. And it costs me $2.92 to do that plus shipping. And then I sell them for $15. So that's a good deal. I make more money. But again, Okay, so this is a copy of my book, and then I'll give you a half-hour free consultation, because I do consultations that are really fun, and they get right down to the heart of it.
Is that 2 years?
1 gift. Okay.
Everybody's cards in? All right.
Pressure is on. And it
No.
is Corian. Doesn't
No, it's
count.
not.
It's not
Oh, is it
Corian?
Rachel?
It's Rachel. Rachel. Okay.